What would you do if the very gift that defined your life, the one thing that gave you purpose, was suddenly stolen from you? Imagine being a composer who could no longer hear. This is the story of Ludwig van Beethoven, the man who proved that sometimes the deepest music is born not in sound, but in silence. Beethoven was born in Bonn, Germany, in 1770. From a young age, music was his entire world. By his teenage years, his talent was so extraordinary that people whispered he might become the next Mozart. He played piano with fire. He composed with genius. And by his 20s, he was already famous across Europe. Music wasn't just what he did. It was who he was. But then, tragedy crept in. Around the age of 28, Beethoven began to notice a terrible problem. He was losing his hearing. For a musician, deafness isn't just a disability. It's a death sentence. Imagine a painter going blind or a dancer paralyzed. Beethoven knew what it meant. The very essence of his life was slipping away. In despair, he wrote letters confessing he considered ending his life. He felt cursed, abandoned, trapped in silence, and yet he did not end his story there. Beethoven made a radical choice. He refused to stop. Though deafness closed the world's sounds to him, he turned inward, listening instead to the music of his own imagination. He composed some of his greatest works, his symphonies, sonatas, and concertos. He could barely hear a note. And then came his Ninth Symphony. By then, he was almost completely deaf. During its premiere, the orchestra played. The choir sang the immortal ode to joy. But Beethoven, standing with his back to the audience, heard none of it. Only when someone gently turned him around did he see the crowd on their feet, cheering wildly. The man who could not hear had given the world one of its most timeless sounds. Psychologists today call this transcendence through limitation. It's the idea that constraints don't just restrict us, they can force us to dig deeper, to create in ways we never imagined. Beethoven's brain rewired itself. Scientists believe he relied on memory, vibration, and sheer imagination to compose. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity. When one sense fades, the brain strengthens another. His deafness, paradoxically, may have freed him from distraction, pushing him into pure creativity. It's a reminder. What feels like the end may actually be the beginning of a deeper genius. If Beethoven's life were a parable, it would sound like this. A man loses his voice, but finds a song within. A painter breaks his brush, but discovers color in his mind. Beethoven lost the world's sounds, but gained music that transcends time itself. Sometimes silence is not the absence of music. It is where the truest music is born. Most of us will never compose symphonies, but all of us know what it feels like to lose something we thought we couldn't reality live without. Maybe it's a dream that failed, a job we lost, a relationship that ended, a part of ourselves we thought defined us. Beethoven's story asks us, when life takes something away, will you let it silence you? Or will you turn inward and find a new song waiting inside? Because sometimes our greatest creations come not in spite of our pain, but because of it. Beethoven proved that even when silence surrounds us, the music within us can never be taken away. True greatness is not the absence of struggle, it is the decision to create anyway. So here's my question for you. What silence are you facing right now? And what if hidden in that silence is the very song you were meant to give the world? If Beethoven's story spoke to you, hit like to keep this music alive. Share this with someone who feels like life has taken away their song. And don't forget to subscribe for more modern parable stories that remind us that even in silence, we can create symphonies. Because sometimes it's not the sound that matters most. It's the courage to keep playing when no one else can hear.